We're getting ready to go into game number 2. Looks like the map of choice is Antigua Shipyards. Very interesting map for NightEnD. He is the selector of this map. ClouD is the yellow Terran in the bottom left corner. From ATN, he is currently up 1-0 against the red Protoss in the top right corner. It is NightEnD from Team Fnatic. NightEnD, you gotta pull it out, and Antigua Shipyard is a fantastic map for PvT, especially if especially if NightEnD wants to go for a fast nexus of some sort.
I'm pretty sure NightEnD is kind of kicking himself right now because he had all the components to defend against a 1-1-1 from last game.
Yeah, he did.
And that's probably the most frustrating loss in the world. I mean, those are the losses where you've prepared a while. You have the build set up, you know exactly what you're going to do, and you still lose. It's like, oh god, it was just like a little micro blunder, and there goes the game. And it's unfortunate, but how does NightEnD bounce back? That's the big question. How does he actually just compose himself? He gets his what?
His moon boots. Or he gets flubber, man. Puts it in the bottom of his shoes. Just bounce back.
It's a very rational way to think about that.
It is. And I think the way to do it, first of all, is to keep calm and composure. I think, yeah, NightEnD has to realize he had that opportunity. It's just that his position of engagement wasn't really good. He didn't stall for enough time, I felt, because the idea was NightEnD was just starting to be able to power off of his 2 base economy. And ClouD picked, the perfect time to move out with 3 tanks. Now, it looks like ClouD is going to scout NightEnD right here. He's going to see double gas once again instead of 1 gas. And Andre, I mean, when you see 2 gas, NightEnD just chose to go for 3-gate expand, which is a little bit unusual in the current metagame. But what are some of the options when you scout 2 gas? Well,
there's a lot of different all-in compositions that you can be against. Of course, the Void Ray I was talking about. There's Colossus drops that are getting a little bit more popular these days.
It's pretty cool.
There's 1-base Colossus all-ins. There's 4-gate, 3-gate, a lot of different things. Normally when I see this, I actually go for the fast expansion, of course, and I get a second refinery and just tech up and do a pseudo 1-1-1, because if I can get all of those units, the starport, the factory, the barracks units, if I get everything, it will be able to defend against anything that the Protoss throws at me. And if I just keep good bunkers, put them in great places, I will be able to defend against everything that comes my way.
And NightEnD actually scouts the bunker from ClouD. Now, at the same time, he scouted at barracks and refinery, so he knows in some shape or form NightEnD has the ability, ClouD has the ability to tech. And there's a lot of mind games behind this because he hasn't seen the expansion. In fact, he hasn't seen really any units. He just saw a few Marines and a bunker. So NightEnD is right now still kind of guessing, and you can see that he's getting an observer. He still wants a little bit more information.
Oh, what a shame. NightEnD, it looks like he's going for a fast expansion. Oh, he hides the probe. Oh, no, he doesn't. Never mind. The probe's found. Nice job by ClouD. A lot of players would just forget it and say, okay, well, it's dead. But no, ClouD went all the way over to the right-hand side, saw that probe, moving on over. So it is a 1-gate robo expansion. That does mean ClouD has an economic advantage in this early game stage. But it also means that NightEnD has the capacity to do a 2-base all-in with Immortals.
Yeah, Immortal pushes are actually really devastating on this map because the ramp is pretty wide up the natural. And you're able to really hug like the lower ground here. It's not even here on the camera, but you can hug the lower ground towards between the natural and the third and really be able to avoid a lot of damage from the high ground of ClouD's main base. And I mean, I don't know if that's what NightEnd's going to do, but that's just the availability of it. He's actually just powering it with a couple more gateways. He's getting a second observer, which I like. In fact, I am a really big proponent of multiple observers. You see some Protoss. I think I've seen MC go for 4 observers one time in PvT. And I think it's just really good, just keeping your map awareness and being able to really keep tabs on whatever Terran's doing.
One thing I have to be a little bit critical on NightEnD about is the inactivity of this robotics facility. I've been following it very closely. When you are going for a 1-gate robo, you have to make sure that that robo is actually giving you or yielding you as much as possible. The Immortals or the War Prisms are probably the most important thing when you're doing this build, because right now he's just saying, I have a loss. It's not even like there's anywhere NightEnD can go from this. He's just saying, I'm losing. I'm going to take my macro disadvantage and just play it off from here. Hopefully I have better actions. That's not a good way to play out, obviously, StarCraft.
Well, NightEnD, how will he choose to transition? He's getting 2 forages, so this is similar to the play we saw TT1 do, although TT1 went 1 gate fast expand instead. So it's a little bit more delayed version of it, but this time he's rushing to Robotics Bay. Now ClouD, he has pretty much the economic advantage because he's expanded earlier. No aggression out of NightEnD, and ClouD's been able to safely tech. Stim and combat shields will finish momentarily, and ClouD will also jump onto the upgrade bandwagon. And I feel like ClouD has a pretty good position going to 9 minutes in this game.
You can see a slight lead, just about 9 supply ahead of his opponent. That's okay. I mean, we see that constantly. Terran does get that little advantage in that mid-game stage. We'll see if ClouD can actually do anything with it, as his first 2 medevacs are just now about to start. He's switching the factory in the starport. But, you know, I have to really question NightEnD so far, because just this overall build keeps him super, super in the dark from everything. I shouldn't say in the dark, because he has his observers around. It does keep him very defensive, though, no matter what. It doesn't matter what he scouts out in his opponent's base, unless it's like a quick 4 base, he will never be able to do anything against it, because he's gone for the 3-gate robo. He went for the 1-gate robo, the Nexus afterwards. Then he went additional 2 gateways, didn't make anything out of the robos, then went a lot of tech and upgrades. That means no investment in your army. He will never have a better army than his opponent.
Yeah, and that's going to be really tough, especially as ClouD right now is moving across the center of the map. Now, there is a timing he can hit with +1, and Concussive Shot about to finish up in his medevacs. His first medevacs into the field is a very important time for Terran as they start increasing mobility drastically. Now, the first Colossus from NightEnD is out, but it's not in position to hold us off. Oh, a little bit of a misdrop there from ClouD, as some units definitely got dropped off at the wrong location.
It looks like units coming into the front. The Colossus is actually way in the front, and it gets taken out. A big blunder, and look at this. NightEnD doesn't even have enough units to hold off this standard pressure, and he's actually losing in both ends.
He doesn't have upgrades either. +1/+1 is not even done yet, and ClouD is just going to be able to steamroll through his way here. NightEnD can't really hold off any pressure. One lone Zealot, and as brave as that Zealot is, it's not enough to hold off against this Terran army.
Even with the +1/1, it's not going to be enough to hold off this pressure. The probes are just happily mining. There it is, GGYY. Don't know what the YY means. TT. That makes a lot more sense. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. ATN ClouD will take it 2-0. An unfortunate finish for NightEnD and for Frodan.
All right, well, you know what? It's okay, because there's better days. I'll see better days. We'll create a bonus pool for me in my predictions so I can start getting it.
Exactly.
It's all right, man. I mean, ClouD just picked the good timing, and that's just kind of, I mean, that's kind of a build order situation. I mean, and NightEnD was not able to put any pressure, and good mind games played by ClouD, and overall, just good execution.
I do want to mention, I mean, you say it's a build order thing, but it's not even like a good build order.
Oh, you mean the 1-gate robo expand?
1-gate robo expand with nothing being made out of everything. It just doesn't make sense. Why even go the robo? You're scouting. What are you actually scouting to see? You know, he's not really reacting to anything. It's a complete standard play from ClouD. That is probably the most standard build that you can do coming out of ClouD. So then he went for the investment tech of upgrades +1/1. He went the robotics facility, tried to get the Colossus out. It doesn't have thermal lance, of course. So what are you actually going to do with that build? It really, really was super off.
Yeah, I mean, he could. I mean, the whole idea of the robotics just makes you more safe, right? You can get the Observer, you can get the Immortal if he's 2-raxing of some sort. But we'll have to see. I mean, if NightEnd's not here, we can't question him, unfortunately, and I don't think we have ClouD for an interview. So, you know, we'll never know. But if you have those kinds of questions, those are the kind of things you want to submit to NASL. Just let us know. Ask Greetorp or ask me on Twitter @Frodan and @Greetorp, and we'll be glad to interact with you.